Here we go. We back in this thing. Breaking Vegas, episode 10. Zekem Hill and Coach DT to talk about these bowl games since the 28th of December and a couple of NFL topics. Number one, and one thing that struck dear to me is the DeMar Hamlin situation with the Buffalo Bills. You know, I was watching that game, man. I had it on mute. You know, I got my two TVs back here, and I had that one on mute. And just to see grown men crying in that instance, I had to change the channel. It was like there was nothing else entertaining about that game, you know, because my dad personally, you know, had an injury in football that ended his football career. And, you know, it's just like there's nothing more that should be done. I really want the NFL to end that game or whatever, and I'm glad that they did. And you know, because in that situation, that kid's family, his teammates, man, they're gone. Like they're emotionally not there, mentally not there, you know. And a lot of people don't know this, but like my grandma, like she went bald when my dad had that incident, you know, and you know, he just was paralyzed from the neck down. This dude, you know, almost lost his life. He had to have CPR administered to him. So, you know, just that whole situation, man, is just, you know, unparalleled. And, you know, prayers out to him and everything that's been going on and the people who's been supporting him. We really appreciate that. And we just wanted to take pause and say a few words. DT, I don't know what all you got to say, but man, you got the floor.
All right. Yep, very well said. Like you were, I was watching the game as well. And man, it seemed to me like it happened so fast because I was watching the Mavericks on one side and I had that game on the other. And it's like I looked over, Luka was doing something, then I looked back, and you know, it was like a crowd around, and as you said, it was very emotional. So I mean, to see, I've never been in that situation where you know, a person had to be revived right there on the football field, but just to see those guys being emotional, showing their emotion. Lent to the humanity of these guys. Football is a very tough game. I mean, you prepare, you trying to go out there, you're trying to destroy people, you know, some of the techniques that you use could, you know, hurt people. But at the end of the day, you never want anybody to get hurt. You're never out there to go and make someone injured. And I'm not saying that this was the case, but it just showed that both sides, both teams were affected, the coaches, the fans, obviously the viewers, and you know, it just goes out to see, you know, it's good to see that these guys are a family and they care about each other. And that emotion definitely poured out, oozed through the screen. So it sounds like he's recovering, the last that I heard. And only thing we can do is just have well wishes for this young man. And, you know, just prayers for his family.
Yeah, prayers up. I want to add to that I was looking at some stuff on CNN News, and it was a soccer player who had a cardiac arrest on the field, you know, and he survived.
Yes, I remember this.
He ended up coming back, and he played not for the same team because I think he had to have like on his heart, he had to have a machine, whatever, a heart pacer or whatever, and they couldn't have that in wherever he was at, so he had to change countries and play. But he ended up playing again, so you know, I'm not sure if that'll be able to see the same thing for DeMar, but yeah, the soccer player went through the same thing. And I mean, I was surprised. I didn't hear nothing about that until, you know, I read it earlier today. So we know that one person has come back for that. Hopefully we can make sure that can be two.
Yes.
All right. So with that being said, we're going to go on to our bowl games. And we left off with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, which was a great game. I like both these squads. Arkansas, man, tough team down south, and we got Kansas up and coming, man, Rock Chalk. They was on game day early this season, so they had a lot to play for, building momentum in that program that has been bad for so long, and they showed a lot of heart and resilience and went to overtime and lost 55-53, which is okay with me because I picked Arkansas.
Yeah, what a game, man. That game, man, Arkansas came out gangbusters. I want to say they put up
First
maybe
quarter.
21 in the first.
Yeah.
And, you know, they were kind of holding on. And, hey, man, desperation is real. And so Kansas didn't want to go out like that. And so they came and poured it on in the fourth. And like you said, man, it ended up being a epic game. I like the overtime rules where each first time each team gets the ball, and but once they get to that third overtime, they just put it on 2-yard line. Let's play football. Mm-hmm. So I really like that, those one play situations and scenarios. I mean, hey, we can't be out here all day.
They got the best overtime rule. Well, so, NFL fixed theirs. The NFL fixed it. I like theirs now too.
Yeah, the NFL it's definitely better. It's definitely better. But yeah, that game was fun, man. Both teams were slinging, and Arkansas ended up really coming back because I think Kansas took the lead in overtime. So Arkansas actually had a comeback victory after being up by like 24-28.
Kansas scored 18 in the fourth, man. Arkansas scored nothing. So, the momentum shift, it was a great bowl game. I mean, you can expect upsets in these bowl games. So, that was almost an upset, but it was a great game either way. All right. Next up, we have the North Carolina versus Oregon in the San Diego Community. What is it? Credit Union.
San Diego County Credit Union Holiday
Bowl. And man, that was a great one as well. Oregon pulled it out, which was my bowl pick. And I mean, North Carolina, we was winning. And Oregon came back in the fourth and had a good game and won by 1. I don't know if North Carolina scored a touchdown and missed the extra point, or if they kicked 2 field goals. Okay, yeah, they kicked 2 field goals in the fourth, so it wasn't a mix. It wasn't a missed extra point. So their defense showed up when they needed to. Held them 2 field goals in the fourth. They won by 1. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, I mean, from the breaking Vegas angle, I mean, come on. This game was like 12.5, 13. North Carolina was getting points.
Yes, correct.
So we were all over that one. And we just didn't think that Oregon was going to beat anybody. Nor was North Carolina going to lose at this point in the season by 2 touchdowns. So
yeah, they at least put points up.
Yeah, that was money in the bank there.
Yeah. We did call that one. All right. Next up, we have Texas Tech and Ole Miss in the Texas Texas Bowl. And we saying it? No. Joey, the McGuire coach. They did their thing, man, and we showed them love. That Texas love from the state championship trio that we had in the Dallas area. Okay. Let me send my man another invite real quick. He said he ready. All right. So yeah, we showed them love from them 3 state championships from DeSoto, Duncanville, and Sock. Congratulations once again. So we gave Mr. Joy McGuire some love because he coached right in this same area at Cedar Hill, and we had a bunch of connections, and knowing some of the coaches. And, man, they played a great game. I didn't expect them to win 42-25.
Man, we were on the fence on this one. But at the end of the day, for me, I told you, Lane Kiffin he's just not that guy. He has his dad's last name like a bunch of these guys do. And he just hadn't won at the big level. The things that he did at FAU, that they were not, man. He had FAU balling, man. And but what he did at Tennessee, USC, and Ole Miss, I mean, enough about him. Joe McGuire and his coaching staff. The Red Raiders, man, them boys look good. They found the quarterback, and really, this game wasn't close, man. Texas Tech, they controlled this game from the kickoff. And hey, again, we were on the fence on this one. I lean Tech just for Joey purposes, and it looked good. It looked good.
Brief moment. We're bringing in, yes, the one and only Dr. Break Vegas. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. We got the trio in order.
Dr. Break Vegas, I like it.
He's in the building. But I'm looking at Texas Tech, the way Texas Tech ended. So, we got to stay on Texas Tech, see who they're losing. They end the season with this bowl win. They beat Oklahoma before that. They beat Iowa State before that. They beat Kansas before that. They lost to TCU. So, I can respect that. I respect it a lot. And good things looking forward to them in the next season. Mo, we were just starting with the bowl games we left off with. I guess let me see. That was the last one for the 28th. We're starting on the December 29th.
He still had the Duke and US the military bowl. That was on that day.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did
USC.
skip that one. Duke, Central Florida. Oh, yeah, and we picked Duke over Central Florida, and they control that game.
They did. They
Handily.
did. Duke is strong. Duke and Pitt are kind of very, very similar in their styles, how they get down. Again, USC, the way Navy just went in there and punked UCF around. I think that was kind of our bigger reason for leaning towards, at least mine, for leaning towards Duke. I wasn't sure what they were, and then Tulane took care of business in their championship conference.
Oh, I got a lot to say about that game, buddy. All right, so also, we did a bowl challenge for the bowl games, and looks like I'm gonna be the winner. Hip hip, hooray! How we say it, Mo? Bing bing.
Bling.
So it came down to the Tulane game. I got members on my staff whose son play for Tulane. I will be making them my famous wings this weekend. Yes, sir. I appreciate everything they did for me. All right, so we're gonna come back up with the Pinstripe Bowl, Minnesota versus Syracuse. That was a good game. Syracuse had a little fight in them, but Minnesota prevailed 28-20.
Yes, I think Minnesota was out on them, and Syracuse did, like you said, show some fight. And now I didn't get to catch a bunch of this one, but this was like it was early, like on that Thursday.
Yeah.
But it looked like a good game.
Yeah, my daughter was here, so I was doing a lot of family things around that time. It's hard to catch all those bowl games. I caught as many as I could, but the main things, we picked the winner, and it was competitive, so it had to be a good game. Mo, you have anything to say about it?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've shut down on football for about a week and a half, so I ain't really got to catch. I caught those two Final Fours, but
okay, we getting to those because you show had a lot to say about Georgia and Michigan, so we coming to them.
I did. Georgia pulled it off.
All right, we got the Cheez-It Bowl with Florida State, Oklahoma, and shoot.
I called them.
Of course, they had a big spread on that, but Oklahoma came out and played good, man. They played some good football. I feel like they're gonna do a lot better next season too. Any thoughts?
Yeah, man. That defense, man. Like I said, I think that last month of the season, Venables got the defense in order, and that was kind of what was keeping it. That quarterback played well in this game too. Both quarterbacks played well. This was a really entertaining game from both sides. Florida State, I still felt like they were the better team, but for Oklahoma just played hard, man, and they want to finish out the season strong. And they didn't get the dub, but they definitely have to feel confident going into next season because Florida State's good, man. Florida State has some really good guys on that team, well coached. So, but OU has to be looking up.
Yeah, because I text y'all in that game that if I see a quarterback that really stands out, man, I'm really paying attention. And that quarterback stood out, man. He makes plays, he keeps plays alive, and I look forward to see what he got to do next year. But Florida State came through in the end.
They did.
We have the Valero Alamo Bowl with Texas and Washington, and we picked the winner with this. With the running back not playing, that's a big part of Texas offense, and Washington came out swinging. I didn't know that they had the leading pass leader in quarterback for the quarterback at Washington. So they were used to throwing the ball, and that's what they did. They threw the ball a lot.
Yeah, they did. They slung it all over the place. They really controlled this game. Texas defense played well to get some stops and allow Texas to kick a couple field goals and give themselves a chance. But man, Washington and Penix, the QB, man, he had a really good game, and he was missing some throws.
Yep.
He's still got to get his feet, settled so he can be a little bit more accurate. But man, he was slinging that pill around, man, and the score it wasn't as close as that score to me.
Well, it was 13-3 at halftime, and it was 17-14 second half score. So they got some late scores to make it look good. But what I saw him throwing some NFL caliber throws, man. I mean, from one hash to the other sideline, like, oh man, you got that in you. So, the sky's looking up with him. Needs to point forward to him. So, look for Washington to be a little powerhouse next season. Give Utah. Utah quarterback not coming back, I don't think, but give them boys something to fight with next year, because Deion's coming.
You might as well get the Heisman to Shedeur Sanders.
You think so?
Yep, I'm calling it right now, January 3rd. Or what's today? 4th.
The Heisman? That's big right
for
there.
Heisman.
All right. So we go to the Duke Mayo Bowl, Maryland versus North Carolina State, and I don't know what happened with this. I started watching this game, and Tua's brother didn't start the game. They started the game with somebody else, and then I flipped back to it, and then Tua was in the game, and he played the rest of the game. So I don't know if the quarterback got hurt or what, but Tua is the all-time leading yards leader for Maryland. So I don't know how that game started with him not starting in the game. I'm not sure.
Was it like a disciplinary reason?
I don't know, man. It was just weird that he wasn't starting, and then I look back, he played the rest of the game, and they won 16-12. And, that's not a lot of points for a bowl game compared to these other games. That's 3 field goals by one and 4 by the other team. So you tell me,
it was only one. Yeah, it was only one touchdown.
Yeah,
and it was a nice one too. The back of the end zone. It was a really nice throw and catch. But this game was it was bad. We told you guys to stay away from this game because we didn't know who was going to win. Both of these just weren't. It wasn't good football.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We had to pick too because, like I told you, when I saw
7 field goals, come on,
earlier in the season, I just didn't like nothing I saw, and I'm like, man, they ranked 23rd, so that's a lot of bad football being played, man. I might need to, extend my coaching career a little longer, but that's on me. Okay, next we have the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl, Pitt versus UCLA, which was a good game.
Man, was it?
I was never a fan of UCLA's quarterback, but somehow he kept making plays. They were winning games. I just wasn't a fan of the young man myself. And Pitt came back and played a hell of a second half, and that's when they won it in the fourth quarter. I can't say that I've seen all this game either.
That QB, man, I think he threw a pick six because UCLA was in control. Like you said, Pittsburgh came back. He threw a pick six, and that got Pittsburgh going. And he ultimately got hurt and didn't even finish the game. But he was playing bad before, but then when that backup came in, good God. But man, it was a good game, man. Pitt came and took it at the end, so it worked out for me. I had 2-team parlay going that day, so I had to get that first one in, and Pitt was the first one.
Yeah, I mean, most started the season liking Pitt because I don't remember who they played at the beginning of the season, but I remember you was liking Pitt, so I paid attention to them all throughout the season. But I could never really get a good feel for them. Mm-hmm. And in the bowl challenge, I picked UCLA to win, even though I was reluctant with the quarterback. But,
UCLA started declining at the end, and Pitt was coming back strong. Pitt started out strong, then they started losing, but then they got win the latter part of the season. So
that's when you want to get win. That's when you want. Not how you start, it's how you finish. All right, and then we come to another bowl game that ended up being a good one because I was so mad at Coach Freeman, but they pulled it out, and that's the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl with Notre Dame prevailing over South Carolina. Didn't they throw a couple of pick sixes in this game too? They start off 21-7. And
yeah, I'm not sure who threw them, but it ended up being a pretty good game though, man. Rattler at the beginning of the game, Spencer Rattler was, man, he couldn't miss, and that helped the Gamecocks hop out.
Yeah. And,
but Notre Dame played a good game, man. They played solid and sound. That QB really played well.
I mean, they fought back 21-7 in the first quarter, and they beat South Carolina every quarter out there, second, third, fourth. So what we thought, was correct. We felt like Notre Dame was a lot better than South Carolina. Those wins at the end of the season over Tennessee wasn't because they was better, because Tennessee had hurt players, and that definitely helped them look better. But yeah, Notre Dame prevailed. We have the Ohio-Wyoming game. That was a good one in overtime. Ohio won. That's all I cared about. Ohio winning, beating Wyoming.
Hey man, I was all over the MAC. I think they may have lost 1, maybe 2 bowl games.
I think they was
all
4-2.
over them.
4-2. There was something like that.
Yeah, there we go, man. That MAC, man. And this was a good one, man. Ohio. In the overtime, I think they kicked the field goal. Wyoming missed the field goal. I forget exactly how it worked out, but it was actually a pretty good game, man. It was Wyoming showed up and played. I really didn't think that Wyoming was going to be able to hang. I thought Ohio was just hands down better.
Yeah, me too.
Offensively, Wyoming can put up some points though.
But they start off.
The way they finished that season, though, Mo. Good
14 points in their first quarter. Hey. But they're in the bowl for a reason.
Yeah, they won the bowl for a reason. But the way they ended that season, like it.
But then you got a month, to get your bearings back together. So
that's fair.
The next we had a Capital One Orange Bowl, and man, I picked Tennessee. I don't know how. I wasn't sure if the quarterback was here. I thought he had a minor injury. I didn't know he had a major injury. But that backup, man, that boy was slinging that pill. Number 7.
Yeah, big body, the transfer. Yeah, he was man, that dude's huge, man. He's like 6'6" or something, man. That's a big old boy. And he was
thick, like Jameis Winston.
Yeah, man. He like 6'6", 245, man. He got a cannon on his shoulders. Yeah. And he was dotting them up, man. He was dotting them up. Clemson started the freshman from Westlake, and he looked like a freshman.
Well, Clemson hadn't been consistent all season, and they had been changing quarterbacks all season. I mean, I know that they're a name that we're familiar with, so that gives us bias. But I mean, Tennessee has been playing hot.
Nah, I would have went with Tennessee. Clemson has been I've been saying it all year. They've been the sorriest 4th seed. They were the weaker of that top 4 all the way at the end. So I knew they were going to lose.
And they did. They got talent. They just don't have enough talent that they once had. And they got a good coach, so they're going to be viable. They're going to stay in the top 10. It looks like. All right, we're getting to the nitty gritty with the Fiesta Bowl, TCU, Michigan, and me and DT were kind of talking about this earlier. TCU, Fort Worth, Horned Frogs prevailed, 51-45. Great game. Great win.
I was not expecting that W for TCU.
Man, Christmas Eve, I'm talking to my cousin who is a signee with TCU, and I told him I just felt like Michigan was going to beat them. They was a better team. I said it right across from him in his face and said it, and they won. I had to tell him congratulations, man, because I didn't see that coming. But what me and DT kind of debated over, he just felt like TCU was a hands-down better team. And to me, I just felt like Michigan didn't play their best game in that first quarter. And that's what, actually made them lose. I felt like they was the better team, just not that day.
At the end, they had a chance, though, but I don't know what Harbaugh was doing. That was the worst time control management I've ever seen in my life. That dude, let 1 minute go off the clock. They were in scoring position. That dude was horrible.
And that's what it comes down to, man. And that's when you separate yourself in those moments. And he didn't make the calls, and it started with him doing too much with that first call, that Philly special, that trick play at the beginning of the game. I didn't like that. That just didn't feel good to my soul seeing that. You got to go that route to score at the beginning of the game. And I guess TCU felt the same thing, and they never looked back. They took advantage of every opportunity, and from that point on, Michigan had to play perfect. And you working with amateurs, they're not amateurs, but no one can just play perfect for 3 quarters. They tried their best, but it wasn't enough. Taylor May, what you got?
Oh, I mean, And I hit you boys up, man. That Thursday or Friday before the game, I was like, "Hey, man, take TCU and them points." And me personally, I'm putting it on the money line, and that's exactly what happened when I dug a little bit deeper into the games. I just didn't feel like Michigan had seen anything like what TCU was finna do. They hadn't played a quarterback that can run it and pass it and got some guts. CJ Stroud, he's not a runner. That dude had like 33 yards rushing the entire year. Duggan is gonna put that thing down, get behind his pads, and let you feel something. They hadn't seen. They had okay. I mean, the best competition that they could compare to was Ohio State. And just my personal bias, I never believe in Ohio State in big moments because they don't ever do anything when it's time to get busy. I mean, aside from the Zeke year, other than that, Ohio State gets their butt romped. You can go all the way back to the dude, the running back guy that's trying to be
Terrell Pryor.
Terrell Pryor, but even before him, the running back guy, I can't think of his name. But nonetheless, man, TCU is just listen. Them boys are so fast. They so big. They so physical. Michigan just wasn't ready, man. And if Michigan couldn't turn around and hand that thing off and get 4, and you asking a quarterback who's never seen this defense before to play probably the best team to have, because this is not Iowa State with that defense, with Iowa State level athletes. This is a real D1, a legit D1 that's playing a 3-3-5, and they ain't seen that.
Mississippi State played too.
They play it too, but Mississippi State don't have that level.
Yeah, I know.
Like TCU,
I know.
You know what I mean?
I was just comparing.
And Michigan defensively, I don't know what they were doing. It was bad. They had a light box all day. They were just daring TCU. It was stupid. I didn't like nothing Harbaugh did that day.
Started with that first quarter, man. It just once that first quarter happened the way it did, man, he felt like he was in Twilight Zone, man. I feel like he probably second guessed every call he made from that point on.
He had to. He knew his QB was seeing ghosts out there, and then he couldn't turn and run it, man, because when you have a gap style run game, that means that offensive line has to block that first level. Well, that's giving TCU second level LBs, man. We just shooting gaps all day. As soon as that dude touched the 3 technique on the nose, that linebacker shooting the gap. You'll never touch him, and that's what we saw.
Yeah, 13 for sure. Next up, we have the All-State Sugar Bowl. Alabama prevailed over Kansas State. You was liking Kansas State, but I just felt like Alabama, they just got too much going on. And that was what happened at the end of the day, because K-State started off 10-0. I was like, damn, okay, K-State got something today. And that was all that they had was, that little 10-foot start, and that was it.
Bryce Young is what happened. That boy there, he was obviously bored this year and probably playing not to get hurt in a certain sense, because you just won the Heisman. Why am I coming back to school? If I was playing tennis, I could go pro. But that's another story for a different day. But this was Bryce Young coming out part. If you were trying to think who was better, him or CJ Stroud, I think he left the answer pretty clear, in my opinion.
He left his fingerprint all over the game. Mo, did you see any of
that? Oh man, that boy was throwing darts out there. Z.
Yeah,
I'm talking about he was doing it, boy.
That's the only person who we believed in, ain't it? You didn't know nobody else, but you knew him.
You're right. And After Deuce ran off on that, he had that long play. Bryce Young just woke up, man, and he just started dotting boys up. It was pretty to watch.
10-0, then I saw 14-10, and I was like, okay, that's it. They woke up. They woke the sleeping giant up. All right, so let's go to the Music City Bowl. It's in Louisiana, right? Freeport.
No, that's in Tennessee.
Okay.
And Nashville.
All right. What's in the Shreveport then?
That's the Independence Bowl.
Okay. I don't know why I'm thinking music. All right. And we felt like Iowa had the better defense. And we need some ESPN research to find out when the last time a bowl game had 0 at the end of the game.
Kentucky ought to be heads need to roll. I can't say I watched it. I had it on. But Iowa scored 2 pick sixes, so it wasn't a lot of offense. And Iowa had 2 pick sixes, so it's not like Iowa's offense was balling.
Kentucky came in overrated. That was the issue. They came in overrated. They had them too high in the rankings at the beginning. They had a soft schedule in the beginning, and then their true identity started coming out.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
Weird. It was bad, man.
Well,
it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
I'm glad my pick won.
After a month, you can't score no points.
Yeah,
after 2 weeks, 3 weeks of practice, you can't put up no points. I mean, we know Iowa had a good defense.
What they schedule looked like towards the end, they started playing powerhouse teams with good defenses.
Who? Oh, you talking about Kentucky did?
Yeah.
I mean,
Missouri beat them. Then Missouri beat them, and South Carolina beat them, and
South Carolina defense strong.
Okay, so they beat Louisville because Louisville had started playing good. They beat Louisville in the season.
That's a rivalry.
They lost to Georgia 16-6. They lost to Vanderbilt 24-21. Vanderbilt came up strong at the end.
Vanderbilt strong.
They beat Missouri 21-17. They got stomped by Tennessee 44-6. So they was up and down all season, man. They was up and down. They did lose to South Carolina though. Lost South Carolina. They lost to Ole Miss. But yeah, they was up and down. You couldn't ever say which way they was gonna play either week. So you know that's how the season ends. You're unpredictable.
Man, no points. That's ridiculous.
Man, they missed on. All right, so we have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, Georgia and Ohio State. It was a great game, man. It was a great game. Ohio State came out swinging, and they was up at halftime. Okay, 28-24. Came out third quarter. That's 34-24. So they up 10. And Georgia said, you know what? We the better team. And they beat them in the fourth quarter 18-3 to win the game by 1. Ohio State had a chance to win in the end, and they hooked the field goal to the left. I think it was short too, but either way, Georgia held on.
That kick was ugly. Man, Stetson Bennett, man. I know CJ Stroud had a good game. But Stetson Bennett had the clutch. Man, I like, as a DB, man, I like to see when quarterbacks just step up and just dart it up, man. I love to see it, man.
I watched a little of his interview after the game, and he's just an humble dude, man. He believes in his team, man. He gonna make the right play. I saw the interception that he made at the beginning of the game, and the running back, he felt like the running back had the inside alley. And the running back never even looked back. The running back had the inside alley. He threw it. And right when he threw it, the running back went outside. I lost the game like that in junior high, what kept me from going to the city championships.
Damn.
Like it flashbacks. The exact same thing happened. The receiver had the fade route open. Oh, I think I'm gonna go back outside. Oh, he go back outside. Quarterback threw the ball. DB already right there. But you know, that's what happened. So he played a good game.
Overthrows, we catch those.
Yeah. He
played. He made some plays, man. I mean, yes, Ohio State should have. They had the chance with the field goal, but that was a long field goal. It's not like the dude missed 35 yards. Yeah, that was like a 50-yard field. This dude was standing on the logo, so that's a long kick. Listen, man. I'm not sure if y'all have done this, but you might want to go ahead and hop on TCU with that 12.5, guys.
That's what it is.
What? Go ahead and get up on that. Because it's not that I think, and I felt this way about Michigan. I didn't feel like TCU was going to beat them. I didn't think Michigan was just a whole touchdown better. But when they got on the field, to me, TCU just was hands down better. I kind of feel this way right here with Georgia. I think that line's a little inflated. TCU's just better than you think. And again, Georgia beat Kentucky 16-6. Come on.
Georgia don't always play their best game. They play down to the level of their competition.
And we know TCU gonna show up, I think, don't we?
Yeah, man. TCU is so battle tested, it ain't even funny, man. Like,
go take that 12.5, Mo.
Competition.
I'm gonna take that 12.5, man.
Take that shit. Make it 14. It's real good.
We forgot to let him speak because he had already talked about how good Michigan and Georgia was gonna cover everything rest of the season. So
come on, Michigan, that was coaching. I think Coach Harbaugh went away from everything he was doing the whole entire season. I don't know what game plan he had for this last game. That was all coaching right there. Because Michigan didn't play their normal game. Because they normally balance. Defense straight, offense going to score, defense going to hold. Offense going to score, defense going to hold. He went away from that. Georgia, I mean, they played a good team, but I think they're a bigger, stronger team than TCU. I think they're going to beat them by 14. That's just my opinion.
And sometimes, our bias towards TCU is, they just never good enough to win those big games. Even though they had Gary Patterson, they known for being, competent. We just never seen them at this level of competition. So you just really don't believe, and seeing is believing. They got to see it a couple more times for them to start to believe in. And with the Harbaugh, I've never coached in college, but the levels that I've coached, sometimes you make certain calls and they don't go your way. Or let's just say you have a touchdown and it's dropped, and it's just like you're not prepared to accept that reality, and so your next calls coming up is like you're just not there. You kind of having an out of body experience, and I want to say like that first quarter just derailed all their momentum. They had to regroup, and their second half they tried, but TCU wasn't looking back, man. They were destined, man.
Mm-hmm. I like TCU though. I believe they are a top 4 team. I've been thinking that all year. I've been rooting for them to make the playoffs. Definitely didn't see that Michigan win, but it's DFW, so I support it. But ultimately, I think Georgia's gonna get them. It's gonna be a good game to the end.
But not more than 14.
Yeah, I think that 2 touchdowns.
I ain't gonna bet that game. I ain't gonna go against y'all boy.
That's gonna be a backdoor. That's gonna be a backdoor. I mean, well, you take GA and you can make that 10, I guess, if you go the other way.
No, it's only one hand. It's gonna be 11.
11.
Okay. Same thing.
All right. That is the Ohio State. So here we go with Mike Leach. Once again, prayers out to the Mike Leach, Mississippi State family and community. And, me and DT was going back over this game, the whole game, because, like, again, I was in the bowl challenge, and it came down to these last 4 games. Illinois, LSU, Tulane, and Utah. And I thought Illinois was going to win this game. I did, because Mississippi State came out and they was a little flat, and I picked Illinois because without that head guy, you lost your identity. And Mike Leach is unlike any other. So I just felt like they wasn't going to be themselves despite what happened. I feel like Illinois was a balanced team, that they would go in there and, they would do good enough to win the game. And we talked about this earlier. Mississippi State was in the red zone. They threw a couple of picks where they could have scored. But Illinois did take advantage of that. They didn't score any points. They didn't make them pay. And so at the end of the game, Mississippi State, that second half, I knew Illinois didn't have enough. I knew. I watched that whole game. I knew Illinois didn't have enough. I thought I lost the bowl challenge because I thought Tulane was going to use the USC, and we're going to talk about that when they get there. And Illinois just sucked. I hated that I even picked them. I don't know what y'all got to say, or even if y'all watched the game.
I didn't watch that, but knowing that the coach, I just think the players ultimately wanted to win it for him.
Yeah, I hear you.
So I would have went with Mississippi. I just think they would have had to hire Ben on their side,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's where I was. I was like, Mississippi State is not going to lose this game.
That's what you said last week too. You said
I was like, they're not going to lose. Now, I took Illinois plus the 3, and it was right there. It was right there until they started doing silly things at the end and messed up my
lateral to give up the bad beats.
Messed up my 14 parlay. I hit all the rest of these, Mo. These fools lateraling the ball at the end of the game, and Mississippi State won by 9 instead of 3.
Insult to English. Thanks for nothing, damn it.
And I don't ever be tweeting about my bets. I had to let that one out though. I was hot.
Yeah, you did. Let me know immediately, because once I knew Illinois was going to win the game, I turned it off. I didn't even watch no more. And when you said that, I'm like 19-10, I'm like, man, that's what he's talking about. So yeah, that was hurt. They're gonna stop doing it because no teams. It's only 2-3 teams have done this out of all the team times they've seen them try and do this lateral at the end of the game. Cut it out, man. End the game.
That's all it takes. Anything can happen.
Okay, yeah, even that. Purdue, LSU, we don't need to talk about this. Purdue, better luck next season because you did not show up on the second.
Yeah, Purdue had I'm not sure who matched this bowl up, but we might have to check their credentials.
Hey, man, LSU is red there. It took them
LSU had Man, they had the practice team squad. They had the JV in the third, like the end of the third quarter. They had dudes nobody had seen before. They ain't had names on the back of their jersey. They was out there playing.
Guess what? And they gonna be. What's my boy name? That's at LSU. The best to ever do it. What's his name?
Yeah, that's him, man. The coldest.
Yeah, the coldest ever. Yeah. So I wonder if he played. Let's see if he got some
coldest.
Stats. Yeah. So
he a DB. So I don't know.
So I thought he was a receiver. So Maurice, it's a player for LSU. His name is the coldest ever, and I don't know his last name.
That's his real name.
Real government name. You got to tackle or something.
That boy mama was drunk.
Amongst other things. But if he is, he will be a house known name. So, he still got time.
Let's hope he make it to the league then.
Yeah.
With a name like that.
All right. So we have, so the Tigers, Bayou Tigers, I know they have great fans. I know y'all had a great day that day. All right. We're going to the game of the century. USC against Tulane. And people are like, I've been talking about this bowl challenge. It came down. I needed an upset. I picked Illinois. I needed Illinois to win, or I needed Tulane to be USC. And when Illinois lost, I thought Tulane didn't have a chance, and they pulled it out, man. I'm so damn happy, man. I could kiss a pig. For real, Mo, because with that win, because I had 40 points. I was telling you, the games you feel confident about. In Tulane, man, ever since that since the Florida lost, you know what I'm saying? Because I had put a parlay on them and they let me down. That let them know how serious it was. How you can lose. And I never believed in USC defense. That's why I picked Utah against them in the Pac-12 championship. And so I felt like Tulane was another version of Utah. They got good defense. They pass and they run. So I felt like they was capable. And man, I stopped watching the game in the fourth quarter. They were down like 14? They were down 14?
13. I think it was 13.
I stopped watching, man. I was like, man, I was getting depressed. I knew I lost because in the challenge, either you win first or second. Second place get $40. First place get the rest of the entry fees. So I'm like, man, I don't even care no damn more. Getting second place. I'm in there washing dishes, and I was texting Chad. The boy texted me, wow, you see that? I'm right back on looking at the game. And from that point on, man, I couldn't stop watching because USC did everything for Tulane to win.
I believe it.
So if you didn't watch the game, Mo, Tulane scored to make it 7-point game. USC number 4 fumbled the ball on the kick return out of bounds. So they started in their offensive series inside like the 5. Inside the 5. They ran 2 plays, run plays. They got like 1 yard the first play. The second play, they got a safety. So now if they score, they don't even have to go for 2 to win. They're going to win because they just got 2.
Yeah.
They got to punt the ball too, so they got the ball. They ain't got to stop them. Like, everything happened perfectly. And so they went down there. USC, I don't know. Man, Tulane, they called a play. They're like on the 10. They called like a quick out to the tight end, which I'm so glad he dropped that goddamn ball because there's no way he was going to score. There's no way they was going to have time to run another play. He dropped it. So, bam, they run another play to the tight end over the middle. The linebacker get a hand on it. He can't catch it clean, but he traps it. He traps it with the linebacker in his hand. They fall to the ground. The ref called it off. And I'm looking like, man, I think he got it. And he held on to that thing, man. That was like – I was elated, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I could have kissed a pig, and I don't even eat bacon no more. But yeah, man, I end up that made me win the bowl challenge right there. Even if a boy get his bonus points, if Georgia win because you get 20 bonus points, I won't be first and second. I'll be first and third, but I still get that main pot. So you got to do it next year. And for our viewers, he's going to be on next week. I wanted him on this week. He's a coach, so he had something to do. Chad Gundy, he coaches in Ennis, I'm guessing. DT? Yep. He's going to be on next week, and we're going to talk about the bowl games. So next week, Mo, we're gonna do a top 25, despite what the NCAA do with their top 25. We're gonna come up with our own top 25.
Okay.
So yeah, so I got a couple of topics I want to go over. Wait a minute, is that the last game? No, it was not the last game. The last game was the Penn State Utah game. I had Utah. I did not think Penn State was gonna do them like this.
I told you. Well, the Pac-10, I hadn't really believed in them, you know, all year. Utah, they pretty much, you know, beat up on USC all year, and you know, Oregon, they won. They beat North Carolina, but I mean, come on, this is Oregon versus North Carolina. They supposed to win that. They supposed to win that game. And I just felt like Penn State was going to do what we thought Michigan was going to do to TCU, which is basically, I'm going to turn around, I'm going to hand this thing off over and over. Now I'm going to play action. But Penn State really didn't do that, man. I mean, they did hand it off, and they ran the ball. Penn State ran the ball well, but that quarterback, his senior year, he's a fifth-year senior, and, man, he was making plays in that passing game. Rising got hurt, and once Rising got hurt, it was over for Utah.
Oh, yeah, the quarterback. But what I saw was like the big plays that they schemed up against Utah, they worked. You know what I'm saying? So they had like a screen, and go like Seminole. You know what I'm saying? Boom, 2 80-yard plays. Like, man, that break your back, man. You get 2 80-yard bombs, you know, on you, man. Like you question, like, man, what we doing? You mad? You know what I'm saying? You want to show it, and so you're in a little twilight zone yourself. And so Penn State, you know, they made the best of their plays. They played they called good plays. They executed, and you know, Utah not having their best player on offense, you know, that don't help.
That hurt, man, because Rising was converting a lot of third downs, man. He was keeping them on the field, you know, extending the play with his legs, or he'll run it with his legs, or just, you know, hit it on that third step. And once he got hurt, and you know, I understand QBs, you want to be tough and you want to have that type of disposition, but you the QB. And so he ran the ball. It was a third down. He tucked it and ran. Instead of trying to get down, he decided he's going to lower the shoulder, got crunched up. And that's when Utah, that was when all their hope was lost after that.
That's that. So, you know, I bet he wouldn't do the same thing if he had to do it all over again. So yeah.
Shout out to Penn State for covering for me, because I had to go and put another bet to make up for my parlay that freaking Illinois lost for me.
Chasing money. But I'm glad they made up for you. And that's another thing.
That's when I always do that. I parlay and then I put a
that's what I do. But
I'm trying to hedge.
I'm trying to know some stuff. It's been a minute. He got his life. But Penn State only lost to Ohio State and Michigan, so it wasn't like they was losing to any claps or anything. You know what I'm saying? And they dominated the rest of their competition.
Yeah, and they blew out everybody, and they lost.
They dominated the rest of their competition. So you know, we was kind of sleeping on that. I guess we didn't get a Big Ten. Their flowers was expecting them to be so dominant in the bowl games. I just really feel Michigan State didn't play their best game. I feel like they was a better team than TCU. They just didn't show it that day. Shout out to them, because that's all that matters, is playing better that day. So I have a couple of topics I want to talk about, Mo. And that's how we're gonna end our show. So starting off with my Lakers hat. Shout out to LeBron. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan, only because he went to Miami. I just want one more guy to do that. You know, it is what it is. But the man does what he does. You gotta respect it. If you like him or don't like him, the man gonna put up points. He's gonna do what he do. Numbers speak for themselves, and he's about to be the number one scoring champ of not scoring champ, points total of all time. And he's playing immaculate of lately. Have you guys been paying attention?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been balling.
Every time he touched the court. He's been doing that for 20 years.
He's been balling.
As of lately, you know, they're not doing their thing, even though he's putting up his numbers. But normally when LeBron put up his numbers, it results in winning. And that's not happening. But what I wanted to do was kind of talk to you guys about who y'all liking in the West and the East as potential champs. Yeah.
In the West,
so I'll go over the top 5, you know, because everything's debatable. So in the East, we have the Bucks, the Celtics, the Nets, the Cavs, and Philly. So we can talk about them real quick. Who y'all don't like? Who do you like out of them 5? Bucks, Celtics, Knicks, Philly. Oh, I'm missing one. Cavs. So that top 5. Who we liking out of them 5, fellas?
Man,
oh boy.
I gotta have to go with the Celtics, man. The Bucks are hurt right now. Unless they can get healthy, I don't see them winning without Middleton.
I understand that.
I like Celtics is not at the top. They not dominant like they normally are, but they coming along. I mean, I think
going through a patch because they don't play good ball this season. They done done that.
Yeah, they cruising.
You like cruising?
No, I like the Cavaliers. I think they have the most complete team in the East. I feel, man. I like their backcourt, man. I like their front court. They got wings.
They got bench.
Coaches is in place.
Yeah, if
Bickerstaff Jr.
If Garland can stay healthy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they got what you call it coming out. LeVert, Karis LeVert comes off their bench. Yeah. Man, they just got they hungry young. It's like they right in that sweet spot to where they're not old, where they're chasing, and they're not, you know what I'm saying, little boys.
They struck gold, man. The Cavs struck gold, man. They made a trade for Donovan Mitchell, Spider, and they all gonna be under contract for like next 4-5 years. Like that's unprecedented for the team to find that much youth and that much time together. So this is just the beginning. And
I like it from next year. I don't see them pulling this together this year.
I mean, either way, they're gonna make some noise because they can have nowhere to go but up. They're not going down. So they have nowhere to go but up. And the boy just had a 71-point game the other night. So he has so much going for him that, he talked about being in Utah, how, he dealt with a lot of racism, a lot of things that, off the court that just didn't really make him happy about being there. And right now, I don't think he has that problem. And right now, he just had to play basketball, which I want to bring up the Nets. I feel like I'm going to bring up the Nets. I had been off of them. I wasn't happy about KD going to Brooklyn because, hell, I was happy he was in Golden State. I'm a KD fan for who I don't know. But Kyrie is kind of a little skeptical. But right now, he's playing good basketball, and I feel like they got a chance. And I feel like the year that Giannis won it, KD almost pulled off by himself if he wasn't, an inch over the 3-point line. So, I'm always going to go for my boy. And I feel like they finally believe they need a damn coach. They don't have a big head that they once had. And Jacques Vaughn might give them some viability in the playoffs. So we all got 3 different teams that we like, and that's good, though. That's good because the Bucks, once they get healthy, we might look at them differently. And Philly, we'll just see. We'll just see because they got talent.
That Philly's not happening.
They're not.
I do like the. I like the net. I like everything that we're saying. Milwaukee may be my least. Even if Middleton comes back, I don't know if they're better than they were 2 years ago. These other teams are better. Boston is better than they were last year. Brooklyn's better than they were last year, and Cleveland is damn sure better than they were.
And that pickup with Brogdon
in 7 years.
Yeah.
That bag up, they got a starting bag up point guard for Celtics. So that was
Boston. That Brogdon pick, that is a nice look.
I don't think they figured out their rotation with that. I think they're still figuring it out because they still got the white kid.
White, he started. He start every other game. The thing is they trying to soothe Marcus Smart's ego. They need to put his ass on the bench, make him 6-man, and bring Brogdon. They play better when Brogdon is the starting point guard.
Well, just like I said, I don't feel like they have their rotations out. And that being a new coach, maybe he don't want to step on certain toes because they proven he not, but they're capable. They're young. They got talent. They got Williams back. So, like I said, maybe they figure their rotations out. They got time. They ain't made it to the All-Star break, and that's when they got hot was out the All-Star break last year. So we'll see how they
make a coaching decision like the Lakers coach did and put Westbrook ass on the bench. and that boy's balling out of control now. Smart need to come off that bench, stars Brogdon. He's an ultimately all-around better shooter. He plays good defense. He's a true point guard.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. So, that's what they got to figure out. That's on them, not on us. All right. So, we all had different picks from the East, which is good to give us more topics to talk about. And we still like the other teams, despite, we're just waiting on the injuries. And, Philly is capable. We just got to see how they finish the season because they didn't have a bunch of injuries.
No, cut it out. Philly's not doing anything.
You heard it here, folks. All right. In the West, we have the Nuggets, the Grizz, the Pels, the Mavs, and the Sacramento Kings. The bell cow. Back in the day, I wanted my boy Chris Webber and White Chocolate and Vlade and Stojakovic, and I wanted them to win one.
What about Bobby Jackson?
Robert, him too. And Robert Ory, goddamn, he had another goddamn.
What about the light skin Chris Christie? What's his name? Doug Christie.
Yeah, man. Hey, man.
You want his old lady to get one too?
That was a good squad. Say that again.
You want his old lady to get a ring too?
Yeah, man, because she was in that ton of fighting with that boy. She down.
She used to drive behind the team bus.
Hey, man, that's their relationship. Hey, I'm not getting in the middle.
Man, that's all right. Too funny.
Who? Okay, I'm gonna say who I like. Shit. I'm gonna go with the Pels. I'm gonna go with my boy Zion. I want to see what they
heard, man. We're gonna see Zion next month, man. He'll be back for Valentine's Day.
I'm cool with that. The Pels, they don't play without him before, so this ain't nothing new. They know what to do without him. They know what to do when he come back. If Ingram can come back healthy and they get him, they got numbers, man. They play good. I feel like they're a good team. I like what Willie Green has done with them. So I'll stick with the Pels right now.
They are a good team.
So that's who I like.
I like Denver first, and then I think Memphis gonna pick it up.
Yeah, I like both them teams. Taylor made. Let's go on here. What you got to say about your boys?
Man, these teams are these guys are even as hell, man. Like I don't know who's the better team. They all the same to me. From how many games? I can't even see the games behind. From first to sixth place, that's 4 games. So, basically in 2 games, the Clippers could be in number 1 and Denver could be number 6.
Man, it's 3 games. So, yeah.
But I'm saying if they
lose 24 wins, the Clippers in 6, they got 21 wins.
Well, yeah, that's yeah. Well, I see what you're saying, but they're tightly knit up in there. I'm gonna go with Dallas though. I think they got the best player in the West. They're still trying to figure out their rotations in terms of who can play what and how all the pieces fit. All the while they're being buoyed by Luka's fantastic play, and he's just waiting on the game to come along. He know they can do it. They were in this very position last year where they were like 2 games above 500 going into the All-Star break, and I think they lost 5 games after the All-Star break, went to the Western Conference Finals. So I'm gonna roll with the Mavericks, man, because they got the best player in the conference to me.
They hurting though. I mean that they hurting with Kleber going down. Although his name is Kleber, he played a pivotal role on that defensive anchor, and now you put your best 6-man in the starting lineup. If they don't make a trade for a serviceable third scorer, nah.
Well, you saying third scorer?
They got a third scorer.
Who? Inconsistent?
Man, Dinwiddie.
Inconsistent.
Well,
you got Dinwiddie, you got Hardaway, you got some pieces, man. Long as Luka is there,
and that's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about when Luka takes a break.
Who goes?
Who is that guy? Because it's not Brunson.
It's Woods.
How come? Well, he don't control the ball. He's depending on somebody getting the ball to him. So whoever that ball handler is with that second unit when Luka is out, that's the X factor. What does he do? Because I feel like Luka is crossing that bridge of when to be the scorer, when to be a playmaker, because he's making some plays, man, where you like, Oh yeah, he's finna finish that, and he passing it out like bucket naked shots to some of these boys. Like he's really finding himself with knowing when to score, when to dish, and he's setting up some nice open shots for his boy. So I feel like the X factor is going to be that next person when Luka's off the court, that next facilitator. You know, and
Right.
they got Kimba, and I wasn't sold on Kimba because Kimba is kind of a, you know, he's a prideful guy, and you know I feel like he'll take his shot versus find that shot for somebody else, because I was a Kimba guy when he was at UConn talking about how Huskies are back. You know, I remember him. But that's what it boils down to for me for the Mavericks.
Yeah, and then to add on is I don't think that clutch person coming off the bench is going to be a guard. What we're missing, who don't decline, is Bullock and then Finney Smith or whatever his name is. Both them boys don't decline this year, and they played a critical factor last year. Them boys was going, they were alternating games.
If you're comparing what they did in the playoffs to, you know, what they're doing now, they're I'm trying to tell y'all fellas, they are literally doing the same thing. I'm talking about shooting percentages, scoring. They're doing the same thing they did at this time last year.
They were alternating. That boy Bullock don't even in the game now.
But that speaks to the depth, though. That speaks to the depth. They have the best record in the conference, in the Western Conference right now. So I just think they're. I mean, if we're talking about who can win it, again, I think they got the best player, and I mean, shoot, why not? We know nobody's stopping Luka. Yeah, so they got people that you have to respect. It's not like you're not gonna close out to Bullock if he out there. That would be
all the way.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You gotta respect these boys' shots. You know what I mean? And
I just think Denver's too
I like
strong.
him getting his own shot.
All right,
Denver's too strong for him. They big man too. The Joker gonna do his thing. A healthy Murray is starting to get his groove on. You got
Porter, you have Gordon, you have Highland.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, I hear those names, but when y'all talk about Denver, I just think of failure, because that's all they do every year in the playoffs is get down 3 games and then try to claw back and try to make it.
They don't have
good coaching
last year though. They didn't
have Murray. They've been hurt a lot too.
Yeah, they didn't have coaching. You think about the year before Murray didn't play, that boy held him down. That boy
they haven't been full because Porter been hurt too. So you know,
Porter gonna stay
finally coming together, them having their rotation. You know, we're gonna see, because they got number 1 seed. I'm not sure if they had number 1 seed before. So they send the president. We're gonna see if you can hold on to it, because they got the talent. Let's see if they can do it this year.
And I just think Memphis is fun to watch, man. I think
they fun to watch, but they doing a lot of talking, and people keep receipts, man. Don't put targets on your back before you done proved yourself. You know, and I think that's what it boils down to now. You ain't no secret. Ain't nobody underestimating you. Ain't nobody, you know what I'm saying, you know, feel like they're better than you. They know they respecting you, and they're gonna give you their best shot. Like, quit putting targets on your back.
And low key who been balling for them boys? Fucking Adams.
No, but see, they play him, and then sometimes they don't play him. So I mean, he is. He's no scoring threat. You know, he's just rebounds and defense. He's a body.
Nah, he been scoring. He been a double machine. I've been killing them on them DraftKings.
That's just putbacks, and you know, it ain't like he got no offensive bag. You know, you just get no. But I mean, hey, 8 points. 8 points. But yeah, the West gonna come down to it. You pick 2 teams, Nuggets and Grizz. I went with the Pels. DT said the Mavs, but the Kings are in 5th, and I like what the Kings are doing. With your boy De'Aaron Fox, they got Sabonis, but 2 sleepers are Malik Monk and Herter. And they got your boy Harrison Barnes. So it's gonna be interesting. They're very capable. They're playing good. Mike Brown, you know, he's won. We're really gonna see what he brings to the table. But Sacramento Kings, you know, they open their eyes, because who would think they would be here and right now? And we're gonna see if they can hold on to this spot after the All-Star break, because the All-Star break is coming up. So that's all I wanted to discuss. I like the discussions for the basketball seeding. So now we're gonna transition to the NFL and talk about our faves for the championship games in both divisions. All right, so let me look this up. I had the NBA ready. Forgive me, I ain't on top of my stuff, people.
NFL. NFL.
All right, so I'm just gonna tell y'all my two faves in the AFC, and that's what we can talk about. My two is KC and Cincy. Man, I like them. I like them this year. But let me see. I want to do this. Okay, so right now we have the Chiefs, we have the Bills in second, we have the Bengals in third, the Chargers, Ravens, and the rest are not picked out. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry.
It's only one more slot open. There's a bunch of people vying for that seventh.
The Jaguars in fourth. The Jaguars in.
Well, that's because they gotta beat the Titans.
Jags and then the Pats. So so basically out of KFC, Kansas City, the Bills, the Bengals. Y'all like anybody else out of those top three for the AFC?
Man, I like KC for sure. I think what happened last weekend, I don't know how mentally the Bengals gonna be there. Like,
I stand for the Bills too. Then
that's what I'm saying.
It's the player that got hurt.
That ain't no ACL tear. That ain't like. I think that's gonna. And a lot of them boys is young.
All right, so you wasn't on here when I was telling DT. He know my old man. You never met my old man. My old man had a spinal cord injury when I was a baby at Baylor playing football, and that year their team won the Peach Bowl. Mm-hmm. What they call the Gipper. They do it for the Gipper. Like, this might be a rallying call for the Bills. You just never know because
that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
And like, that's emotional, man. Like I was telling, man, my grandma, she lost her hair when my dad, had that incident. She wore a wig. That was like the first time, as a kid, just like, you see your loved ones without hair and they wearing wigs. Like, that's not something you expect. But that's how drastic that event was for my grandmother. But at the same time, it brought his teammates together because even when I go and represent my dad for Baylor, they invite me down for function. I represent my dad. Like, they all show me love. They they tell me about the incident. I met the dude who we had the tackle with, Bruce Matthews. But they tight and they won, man. They gonna rally behind that. Another example, when Ohio State, when Zeke played, I want to say they had a teammate die that year. They rallied behind that. So sometimes these situations can give them better focus and just team unity because you got your teammates back. So that's just an example. But at the same time, I still like Cincinnati. Something about Cincinnati and Joe Burrow, man. Josh Allen getting a big head, man. He getting a little cocky, and I think it's gonna bite him in the ass because they don't have a run game either. But I like KC and Cincinnati. I'm picking Cincinnati to go to the Super Bowl again over KC.
I'm going Buffalo, going to the bowl. Buffalo and Cincinnati will be in the conference championships.
Mm-hmm. Because
Kansas City, I'm not really feeling Kansas City. They're winning. They're 13-3, but this is huge that this game is not that game didn't get played because Pat Mahomes has never played a road game in the playoffs. So the fact that he's probably going to get the number one seed and a bye by default, if that game is not handled, if everything just stays the same, they're the number one seed. But teams have gone in there. Cincinnati's beat Kansas City 3 straight times. Buffalo beat Kansas City earlier, though. They're not afraid to go to Arrowhead. to get to the conference championship. I like Buffalo just for the reasons that you suggested, Zach. They're a good team for one, and then this is going to galvanize them. The city, the Bills Mafia is going to be off the daggum hook. You might want to go ahead and put you in a prop bet for Buffalo to win the AFC. I'm being honest. I don't know what it is, but you might want to go ahead and do that. Yeah, and the same things you said about Cincinnati. Joe Burrow's amazing. I mean, he has talent, but listen, somebody got to throw that. Somebody got to throw that joker.
He got moxie, man. He figures it out. Like last year in the playoffs, I want to say one game they lost. They beat Tennessee. He got sacked 9 times.
Yeah,
he's not making excuses, man. He's making it happen.
Yeah, so he's gonna make that
Burrow.
So,
he would have changed. You look at him like Pikachu.
The 2 teams that we didn't get to see the play, that makeup is going to be the AFC Championship.
Well, hey, I love it. I love it. All right, so here I go. Let's go to the NFC. All right, we have Philly. We have the Niners. We have the Vikings, the Bucks, Cowboys, Giants, and we have either Seattle and Green Bay got a chance.
And Detroit.
Oh, yeah, in Detroit, but I'm not taking them serious.
What's the status on Hurts?
Oh, they hadn't said if he's gonna play, but I think he will, because you don't want him to be a week. Just that timing of missing live game action. I don't think you want to miss all that time and then come to the playoffs and everything's amped up. Like, he got to play. To me,
I mean, that backup is good though. Like, that backup is
you
not.
You hear what I said? That timing in the playoff, because let's just say.
No, I'm just saying if he don't play,
he's not.
How severe is that boy injury?
I mean, he practiced last week. He just didn't play. But that timing, man, it's a thing, man. You just gotta have feel. I mean, I know he's been playing good, but it's just something you can't duplicate. I don't want him to go into a playoff game without having played a month. Like, it's not like he's gonna forget. I just feel like it's gonna take him a quarter and a half to just really get himself back into game ready focus. So I just want him to have that game.
I like the Niners though.
Like the Niners. As well do I. I like the Niners and Green Bay, man. I feel like Green Bay gonna win that thing. Who they got to play?
Green Bay. They need a bunch of things to happen. If I'm not mistaken.
Okay,
yeah, there's some teams that have tie breaks over them.
They just playing so high right now, man. You know that hot team, man. This is just amazing. And I was on the Giants that year that Eli took them all the way. It's just I just felt something about them. I feel like Aaron Rodgers, who killed my fantasy team this year, has finally came back together, stopped being arrogant, and then got on the same page with receivers, and just something that they're doing right now. I could definitely be wrong, but just the feel I get from them. Who you boys like?
I don't know, man. I like the Niners and the Cowboys.
The Niners and the Cowboys, okay. I definitely like the Niners.
Niners and the Cowboys. I think they just right there where they need to be to make some noise. I think that defense gonna get better in the playoffs.
Who? Cowboys or the Niners?
Cowboys.
Better? Okay. Taylor mate?
Man, I like Philly and 49ers, man. The Eagles and Niners. Philadelphia, dude, they lost to the Saints this past weekend, but it was because of the quarterback. I mean, Minshew just couldn't move the ball against a good Saints defense, which they're going to see, in the playoffs. But their defense is good, man. They still have good players. They had people making plays, so Jalen Hurts will be fine. I'm with you with the timing, but to me, that's kind of null and void, because they say he does play this week and they win. Well, they get a week off, so they're going to win the bye week. So he ain't going to play no way. So the timing is going to be an issue regardless.
I still want it there. I don't want that big of a gap in between where he played serious football. I don't know.
I understand.
Me personally, I just want I just want you there. I want you just to have, because at that level, it's split second difference, man. You know what I'm saying? What's that? Percentages they be having. Oh, he only has a 20% chance of completing like that. It's a thing, man, and that's.
I'm not discrediting. I'm not
Even
discrediting.
I don't even think Tom Brady want to sit out, even though they got their seed. Like he wants to play, because that's the thing, man. But I still feel like Philly is still finding themselves. I don't feel like they're battle tested. You played a good regular season, but championship football is different football, and I feel like they still have to grow a little bit more. I feel like they're gonna let them. They're gonna they're gonna let themselves down in the playoffs.
They went to the playoffs last year.
They did and got embarrassed by Tampa Bay, but at the same time, you got San Fran and that thing. I don't know. Like if Green Bay don't make it, who do I like?
Nobody. Come on, you don't like Minnesota. I know you don't like Tampa Bay.
I don't.
You definitely don't like Dallas. You can't like the Giants.
Nope. Don't like Seattle. So, yeah, either Philly or Green Bay. But I'm saying Green Bay right now because they just been hot, man. So that could definitely be eliminated next week. And
Green Bay is definitely a dangerous team. I don't know what all needs to happen for them to get in, but Seattle has to include a Seattle loss and the Detroit loss. I don't know who they're playing.
Let me look at this score, but
I mean, I got to roll with Phil. They've been consistent. All year, and even when Hurst was hurt, they've shown that they can at least hang. They hung with Dallas. It took a 3rd and 30 conversion to T.Y. Hilton, for Dallas to kind of keep that thing
all right.
Get the dub.
Yeah, that was a big.
And then San Francisco's just a complete team. Purdy kind of bothers me. I don't like that, but their defense is so stunning.
Jimmy coming back though.
Oh, Garoppolo's coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, even still. I mean, they got running backs, they got receivers, they got slots, fullbacks, tight ends. I mean, they just Swiss Army knife.
And a kicker.
Yeah.
All right, so the Eagles play the Giants. I'm not sure if the Eagles gonna play their players. I'm not sure if the Giants gonna play their players.
The Giants should play their players,
except Saquon. So then the Seahawks play the Rams. I don't know how the Rams gonna show up. If the Rams gonna show up, and then the Lions play the Packers. So that's how that boils down.
That's gonna be fun. Where's that Detroit game at?
In Green Bay, and they moved that game to Green Bay Sunday night. I think it was early in the game.
Yeah, they flexed them, and they should have. Woo wee!
It's gonna be tough for the Lions.
It is. What's the line on that? You see the line?
4.5. So basically, you get them for 3 points. Green Bay.
I'm gonna take Detroit.
Ooh, oh, you gonna put it at 8? What's up? No, that's 6. We'll put it at 6. But yeah. So the NFL, man, it is a merry-go-round because every team beats every team, and that's the beauty of it. You really can't predict it, and that's why you play the game. I was really off the Green Bay Packers bandwagon, but they probably the hottest team in the NFL right now.
Them in Jacksonville.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Your boy Trevor Lawrence is doing his thing. So I'm anxious to see how he play in his playoff debut. And
you got to win first.
Oh well, yeah. Still interesting to see because this is the playoff game for them. Then they playoff just started a week early, so it's gonna be some good football.
You built for it.
Next week we're gonna come on this thing after the bowl championship, and we will have our own 25 top 25 pick. We're gonna do that next week from the NCAA. We will try and do some research and see who's losing who, what seniors are leaving, what coaches are leaving, and try and come up with a viable top 25 because next season we breaking Vegas, baby. That's what we're here for. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. So we're letting you know. We're doing our research. We're paying attention to the games. We're going over it. We're doing our Warren Buffett the best we know how.
Man, no doubt.
So, that's our show for today. We will have more sports topics Hopefully you enjoyed our little debates. We appreciate those who chimed in. We appreciate you, Lim, for showing us some love. We will have some special guests because Coach Chad Gundy will be on next week, and when we do our top 25 picks and countdown or whatever, and we just keep looking for a good show. We appreciate you. If you guys have something to say before we get out this thing,
man.
Nah, man.
Okay.
Conversation. Let's get this money though. We got to get on that DraftKings too. Let's get it.
Love, peace, and hair grease. See y'all next week.
All right.